All right, what's up, guys? It's Champion Pox here, coming at you with a brand new video. Yeah, that's right. I got my champion this season. Just barely, just at the end. But next season, we're going to solo queue to champion. So stay tuned for that video. Okay, guys? Okay? Subscribe. Okay? Okay. I'm house sitting. So if you hear dog noises, such as that, then that would be why. So today, we're talking about Villa. Villa's a good one. Villa's a good one because I feel like it's complex enough that people don't really know what they're doing. But at the same time, you can make it simple and you can make the setups actually really good. If we're going to talk about Villa, we of course have to start with the Aviator bomb site. This is the default site that pretty much everybody goes to off the start of the match. But it's also a site that pretty much everyone sets up wrong. So the first really important thing about the Aviator bomb site is you don't want to reinforce both these walls up. You want to either open it head level or foot level, usually head level most of the time, and then you'll reinforce the one beside it. The reason for this is because if you're an attacker coming into study, which 90% of ranked teams do is just push straight on study, now not only do you have to worry about this door and this door, but you have to worry about these holes as well because people could swing you from that as well. So you have to worry about this door, the holes, and top main now when you're pushing into study as an attacker. Rather than just sprinting in and hiding in this corner and holding your door, you no longer can do that because of these head holes here, right? And then you'll also want to reinforce these two as defender just because opening this bar wall is really strong as an attacker. The other thing about having these head holes too is you can actually shoot off any of the hard breach gadgets from here and you're safe with this reinforcement. So you're safe from the study balcony. You can shoot the hard breach stuff off the wall without having to swing into study from this door, which is going to get you smoked from somebody on the rappel upside down or here or here. That's just, this is a tough gunfight to take. If you shoot someone off here, you're literally just the best in the world, okay? Next up, as the sight player or as the shotgun player, you'll want to open up this rotate here. This is pretty default, pretty standard. And then you'll want to make some head holes real high on this wall. And then typically you reinforce this middle wall. Now what these head holes do is not only can you get up on this bar, if I can get up on, there we go. You can hold this skull door from here as any character, which is a really late spot for them to push in, and you can find all these off angles on the bomb to watch the push in sight. But as a smoke, you can also deny your maps plant from here, which is that was an ass smoke. But as the smoke player, let's try this again. You can deny your maps plant from here by just like throwing it as far as you can against this wall. So anybody planting back here is going to get hit by that smoke. But you can also deny the default plant on vault with a smoke grenade on here. Or if they plant here, you can also smoke from there. All right, this is going to be take number 3 of me trying to say what I'm about to do because my dog keeps whining. So you want to reinforce this wall. And you can actually cade it from this side. That way the nades coming over won't get it. So if you have a cade, this is a really good spot for a cade charge as well. And then for these walls, this is actually really important. Instead of making the rotate here or reinforcing both of them, you'll want to make the foot holes on either side of this doorway. And then reinforce the outer walls. So this is super cool because what it does is you can still play in this corner and watch the hallway. So if they're coming from like books, if they get main control, they're coming from over here, you can play the shotgun here and just shotgun them as they push around the corner, or just shoot them through the wall when you see their feet. So this is a really hard fight for the attackers to take. You just don't want to play it too aggressive. Like if you're holding this, you can get smoked off this angle, but shooting their feet as they come in is a really easy way to hold this hallway. Now, you don't want to just give up main control to the attackers. A lot of people will just simply not play here. So most commonly, you'll see a shield like in this area with some ADS or Midas to protect it. That way, if they do come into study, you can contest them. You can hold main stairs from here. And then typically, you'll have like a second person playing here to actually hold the stairs. And then you can give it up once you've wasted enough time or killed everybody, I guess. You can give it up at that point if you want. But main is a really important spot of the map that you don't want to just give up to the attackers for free. So holding this area is really strong. Now you could even do this by yourself if you bring like a Frost or an Ella or something along those lines that you can still have the shield for, but then you can have some info for if they try to walk up main. And then if you hear your Ella mine, you can like swing off of it, etc, etc. Thorn also works for that, but that's pretty important. If you want to help the main guys even more, which you'll see this all the time in high elo lobbies, make these holes behind the bar. So what this allows you to do is then sit and watch if they push up the stairs. Now be careful because a lot of good players will just nade this spot and just blow you right off of it through the floor. But if you're in lower ranks or under plat diamond, they probably won't nade you through the floor, so you're probably safe to play these angles. Now, if you want to extend out, you can also extend out like red and put a shield here and reinforce these walls and make it complicated. Or you can even come all the way over here and reinforce these statue walls, waste some time, drop the hatch, etc. But it's not really necessary. Most of the hold from this side is going to come from your 90 players and from the actual pushing through vault. What I like doing with smoke is if you find they are doing a master take and they're wasting a lot of time, I use my smokes early here to stall out the push on skull. So that way they have to keep backing up. They can't clear whatever utility your team has here, and that'll waste a lot of time as well. And then you can play it with the shotgun real close, and it usually works out pretty well. I'm thinking if I forget anything. If you really want, this is one other thing you can make a little hole here and watch the push in through main door. Another couple little holes I like to use is this one beside the pool table. You can watch the library door from here. Wow, that was a horrible hold. But you get the point. You go pro and you shoot this out, and then if they come into library from living room, you can kill them that way. So there's a couple little tricks and stuff you can do like that. You can open the 90 hatch if you want. That's pretty much up to your teammates. If your teammates ask you to, just obviously open it. Just help your teammates out with whatever they're trying to do at the same time. You can also make holes back here, so if you have a guy in piano late in the round, they can deny the plant spots if you have these holes open. But it's not super important. You don't have to make them every time by any means, but sometimes your teammates will ask to, open up the holes on the plant spots, so these would be the two main ones. Anywhere else they try to plant, you can pretty much see from billiards. Another good spot to play a smoke is in the vault. So if they're going for this bar plant, you can smoke over and deny the plant from here. You can even throw your smokes like through these footholes to block the hallway off. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Aviator site. All right, so the next site we'll talk about is the trophy site, which we'll just pick smoke. You can play mute. Anybody with a shotgun works for this. You can even go castle, Mira, frost. Frost and mute will have longer setups because you have to set all their traps up as well, whereas smoke you just have to throw down your shield and you're good to go. But you catch my drift. So, off the bat, you want to make your rotate hole between Astro and Deer. You never want to really reinforce all these walls off because holding Astro is really strong on this site, and if the attackers get control of it, it could be the demise of your defense, we'll say. So opening up the hatch is also important so you can drop out. It just adds another kind of layer to your defense. And then you can even open these head holes here. So opening this makes it easy for if they do push for like the statue side on the other side of the board. You can peek from here. You can fight guys in here. I actually have a pretty nice clip of Malusi playing from here. That'll show you how to play a spot. I'll play it for you just so you can see actually like how to play this spot and what I mean by using these holes. So it turns out I actually did not have the original footage anymore, but this is a TikTok I made of just like the pre-firing off the holes and the way you would kind of play around them. Most of the time you're just want to reinforce off all the master walls. You can actually open this wall and get a nice line of sight in the closet for the hop in the closet. You can watch the hop in of closet from here. So that is another option if your team does want to actually extend out and open this wall, but it requires a little more team play. So I would just recommend reinforcing it if you're newer to the game or if you're in like not a super high rank. Usually just reinforcing the walls is a good way to do it. You can then open the laundry hatch. This just makes it so if they're coming in underneath, they have something to worry about a little bit more. And then typically you'll set up your shield bricks. You can also set it up in Astro, like over there from before. But typically you'll set up here with some ADSs just to contest the push in the master. The shield sucks. One sec. You'll want to make sure you can peek the right side of it. This actually also sucks. Here. We'll do this. So by lining up this way, you can still push up around it and hold the master hop in, but then you can still quick peek off it for the windows, right? So that way you can work around it a little bit. So then you'll see some ADSs here maybe to protect it. But this is usually just like a default shield that people will use. If you want to get a little more advanced, you can open up these holes here for your roamers underneath. These holes, sorry. For your roamers underneath, then they can nitro up through the floor and actually nitro people who hop in this closet. Typically, you'll just reinforce the middle of this wall, make footholes along the bottom of the other ones, just so it adds a little more pressure. Like if the attackers are in here, you can kill them from the Astro stairs, just with these holes. Or holes under the window, just make them a little nervous to jump in. It's all about adding pressure by just making holes, right? So this way you can actually wallbang people in the bathroom. So if you see them run by with their little toes, you can shoot them in the head. You can open like head holes up here if you would like. This one's a little sketchy because if the attackers get control of Astro, I don't know, it's not too bad. It also allows you to smoke the bathroom from here. So it's up to you whether or not you want to make those holes. I personally like them. I don't use them too often though. And some other really, really strong like floor holes on this are if you go prone by this blue box. You go prone, you shoot out this, and this is the walk up the Astro stairs. So if people try to walk up Astro stairs, you can shoot them in the back while they're walking up. So that's another really strong angle. Or this angle right here by this pillar. It allows you to go prone and watch China. So that'd be if they're like doing a bottom clear and trying to like get the stuff off from underneath. So if they come in through here, that's what this hole is. And this is a super hard fight to take as an attacker to push into this and actually win that. So that's another strong one that you can use just for like literally free kills of people walking around in the basement. I can't really think of much else. You can do holes here for the plant spot, just if you do have bottom control and they try to plant there, or holes here for your players underneath if you have them, just to watch the push in through statue. This site's pretty simple in terms of what you actually need to open. And then if you really want to get fancy, you can actually extend out, reinforce these aviator walls, make your teammate a rotate hole through 90. You can open up the footholes here for them again, the same way you saw on the last site, and they can reinforce this wall, and then they can hold their books a little better. So that's if you actually want to fully commit to extending out, but most of the time you're not going to need to even open up anything over here. Maybe the 90 hatch if your teammate wants, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for the statue site. I can't really think of much else. Oh, I didn't go over all the reinforcements. We got to reinforce this wall in Astro, the 3 walls here, the middle bathroom wall. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then typically you don't really need anything else. You can either use them for the AV walls and the bar walls. You can reinforce bore if you really want, this bore wall. You can use them downstairs, so you can either extend vertically or horizontally. So if you want to use them downstairs, you can reinforce the pantry wall and these 2 walls here. But this is a site that it's not required to get all 10 walls up. It's not like detrimental to only use 5 walls on this site. You could even reinforce all the bathroom walls off if you really want. If you're scared of these angles being used against you, then you can reinforce those. But you can kind of play with the reinforcement on this site. Don't be afraid to reinforce stuff on the other side of the map. Don't be afraid that your team won't have enough walls, because you will be okay if you use some of those extra walls on this one. Okay, so moving on to the dining site. This is the typical 3rd site for this map. It's played a little different than like a typical bomb site would be. You can also go living. We're not going to talk about living today, just because it is more complex, it is much more team reliant, and you can change up dining a lot the way you play it, so there's not really a default strategy for it. But dining definitely has one. So on dining, you want to make this memo rotate. You'll extend out into memo. This is just like what a team would normally do. And then you would reinforce these 2 memorial walls. So you'll usually have someone play here like a Legion or somebody with info on this hallway that can get info on this hallway, like maybe even Ella. You can even barricade this door if you're not comfortable with it being open. And then later in the round, you might want to make this rotate for like a teammate to hop in and flank, or you can flank by making a rotate there late if you really want. The roaming smoke, absolute classic. Usually you want to actually go mute for this site. Mute's a little better just because you can mute off all the doorways, so it's a lot harder to actually for the other team to get info on site. Reinforce both these laundry walls. I've seen people open them. Not a fan. Not a fan. Just reinforce them. There's no point making it complicated. You will want to make sure you open up this hatch. So what this does is when the attackers come in here, if they see this hatch is closed, all they have to worry about is this door. They don't even have to watch it. So opening this hatch makes it so the attackers have to either commit someone to actually being up there or actively watch it on a drone. Otherwise, you can easily just flank this hatch and kill like a ton of people in this room. It's ridiculous. So open the hatch, super easy, and just makes it way harder. You can make the rotate on either side of this China wall, but you will want to reinforce the middle of it. I personally like to rotate on this side and then the head holes here. Now that I think about it, these should be actually like head level. So don't make like the top one, just like the regular head holes, because that allows you to actually like watch the push in from memo here and get these angles over here and then rotate between. Maybe I do like the rotate on here. This one's tough. You can do either rotate, because this would give you more cover if you have just head holds here for this, and then you can just look through the rotate for this. So yeah, maybe make the rotate here. Now that I'm thinking about it, make the rotate on this side. You do want to reinforce the pantry wall. This is super important. And I like to open this hatch as well. That way, you can also flank through the basement and kill people in pantry. You can watch the push in from the basement from here. Opening hatches is one of the best ways to add pressure with one shotgun shot, literally. You also want to open the living hatch, so that way if you have a teammate playing here, like you'll see a lot of cap can play on this and then fall off through the hatch. So this is an easy way for your teammate to rotate out without getting stuck here. So for the actual site, that's pretty much it. You have the 6 walls on site, which leaves you 4 walls left over. A lot of people will reinforce those walls on the far side of living to play there, so you might only have 2. You can open the Astro hatch or reinforce it. This one's team choice. And then if you have the walls, you can reinforce all the Astro walls and actually hold Astro, which is what a lot of people do. Either that, or what I like to do is reinforce all 3 of the master walls, so that way you're almost playing it as if you were playing from statue, and then you can just make holes above. There's just a few holes to help your teammates. Wow, that was kind of garbage. But this will like let you watch the bikes hop in if you have someone playing up here. But opening these holes on the Astro wall is super important, because this lets you watch red, and this is the memo door here that leads into sight. So this is what allows you to stop attackers from just walking straight into sight, is this vertical play, which not a lot of people use, and you should probably do it more. And yeah, that's pretty much it for it. You don't have to overcomplicate the top floor setup. It's mainly just to have like this red hole. This red hole is super strong. You want to always make sure you make this hole, and then open or reinforce the hatch depending on what your team's doing. Most of the time, it's just open it right up, and then you can even reinforce this wall if your team doesn't feel comfortable with the hatch open. But you will want to extend vertically or horizontally. But the main thing about this site is you don't want 5 people in this site. You want to play the map. So whether it's you have 1 guy over by living and 2 guys upstairs and 1 guy site and 1 guy in the basement, or you have 1 guy in memo and 1 guy in here, and then a couple people over here are playing by main door even. But you want to start really far away from this site and make your way back. Of course, you do want 1 or 2 people on the site to watch the rush. If you have to, just barricade up these doors if you are the site player and you're left alone, because you don't want too many avenues into sight that will, leave you getting shot in the back. One other hole that is really good is you can make this hole above bathroom. So this, your teammates in bathroom can watch this from above as well. So you have lots of ways as a roamer to get back to site. You have the hatch, you have the Astro hatch, you can jump over and come through the red door. You can come back through clock. You can come all the way into the basement and come up pantry. So there's lots of ways for your roamers to get back to site, which is why it's really important to just play kind of everywhere on this site. So there you have it, guys. That is the Villa defense default setups. Sick. If you're not the smoke player, maybe you should send this to your smoke player or your mute player or your shotgun guy, because this is really ideal. The ideal ways to set it up, for the most part. Everybody has their preference, but for the most part, these are the best ways to set it up. So that way you can just win more rounds. Super easy, super effective. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Have a good one.